This is the Losi Baja Ray. They claim it a 1/10 scale car. It's 4-wheel drive. It's got independent front suspension. It's brushless. It runs up to a 3-cell LiPo. It's pretty cool. This is the Traxxas Utter Ultimate. No, it's not the Ultimate. This is the Traxxas Ultimate Desert Racer. They think it's a 7th scale. They don't know. This is the Kraken VEKTA trophy truck. It'll eat your wife and children. It's massive. You'll probably get a hernia picking it up. It's pretty awesome. It's 4-wheel drive. It's gas powered. It'll kick your ass. All right. Oh. What's up? What's up, everybody? We're at the Devil's Playground, known as 5 Mile, and we're playing with toy cars. We got Pope. We got Todd. We got someone else who's internet anonymous. We're gonna check out some 5th scale cars. It's a little windy. It's pretty crappy out because we've got a bunch of wildfires. People keep setting themselves on fire out here. So anyway, let's check out the goods. So we got the MTXL. Get off me, you fly. Got this VEKTA, very sweet. Kraken converted TSKB. Got the original OG VEKTA. RC Max 65 VEKTA. Got the TLR5 buggy. Got whatever that is. Got the Desert Buggy XL electric and the OG Losi 5. And right here, got the brand new Kraken VEKTA trophy truck. First time touching dirt. Probably gonna break it. It's gonna be sweet. So, here's a little idea of what we get to play with. Nah, it'll be all right. All right, here we are. I got my external microphone, so this should be better than just wind blowing in your ears. So we got the whoop section. We got the whoop section, so we're gonna see how this goes. Feel like you have to hit angles. Exciting too. Alright, so a week has passed since we took the Tisco truck, the VEKTA trophy truck, out to 5 Mile Pass. We just watched a couple of running videos of it, and so now I just wanted to go over and talk about how it reacted and some of the handling characteristics, things that we experienced. So initial impressions is still really positive. Like, this is the truck that a lot of people were asking for when the VEKTA was first released. You know, a lot of people wanted full fendered body truck. There were some people that even modified Losi 5T roll cages to try to fit. And I think that this really pulls it off well, the scale appearance and the scale driving experience. So again, Kraken has mentioned about that with their anticipation of the trophy truck, they wanted it to drive very much like the real truck would drive, and that's a lot what we experienced. So it was very cool. So like under acceleration, you would get a lot of squat in the back, the front would lift, especially in the corners, you'd get a lot of body roll. It looked very scale and realistic as we were driving. So overall driving impressions. So how did it run? It ran really well. The CY 4-bolt 29cc engine is a pretty familiar engine that we're all familiar with. If you've ever driven a Losi 5T or the Monster Truck XL, you know, in comparison to the G320 that comes on the standard VEKTA almost ready to run, it's obviously not as powerful. As mentioned in our Facebook Live video, so we opted to remove the CY high flow can muffler and installed our Dominator tune pipe, and that really woke it up. It gave it a lot of more pep on the bottom end compared to when I first broke it in. The new servo saver, the adjusted spring, is definitely an improvement over the original VEKTA, which I mean, the old VEKTA didn't give you any give at all, and so this is a lot nicer. The steering servo, it will likely be changed out here in the future. I'll probably go with the single high-tech D845 waterproof servo. I think that this truck is going to be fine with just a single servo setup. So the truck ran great. The engine ran great. Like, you know, we experienced that it would be a little bit down on power compared to what we're used to, with a lot of us using 32 and 34cc engines, as well as Todd with the 65. But I don't think it disappointed at all. It's very respectable for a ready-to-run car out of the box. The Dominator tune pipe picked it right up. I think that this truck with a 34cc motor, a tune pipe, and maybe like our stage 1 gears would be pretty much perfect. It's going to give you a very scaled driving experience. It's going to be very exciting to drive. Potential issues that we experienced were pretty much minimal. We got nearly a full tank through of driving it. We noticed that the steering was getting a little bit soft and mushy, and what we initially thought was that was due to just the Kraken servos. You know, I mean, if you've been driving it for about 40 minutes out in pretty harsh environments, it was nearly 100 degrees outside when we were driving our trucks. We just assumed that the servo was getting a little tired, but what we'll show in the close-up here is that the spindle carrier had the screws back out, and we lost a total of 3 screws before we were finally sidelined and the truck stopped working, because the right side just kind of came right off the spindle carrier and the dog bone came out, and we realized it wasn't going anywhere anymore. So that was likely the culprit of the wallowy steering. And so this first batch of the VEKTAs, so again, this was essentially a pre-production sample. You want to check those spindle bushings, make sure that they are, well, you do need to take them out and put a little bit of blue thread lock on those so that you don't lose those screws. The rest of the truck has been fine. I mean, common stuff, you know, when you go out and you do a break-in, you'll want to do a break-in in a big open area, run it around, and inspect all the bolts, you know, just before you go out to a big dusty environment like we were in, and really give it a thorough running, because you want to just check bolts. These engines, they generate a lot of vibration, and so you don't want to lose some silly screws and get you sidelined for the rest of the night. So as we were out driving it, we certainly were giving it a running. It wasn't without incident. We'll cut to a clip here. This is driven by me, driving through the whoop section
and I got a little bit squirrely and completely cartwheeled and tumbled it. It was a little painful to watch. There's a little bit of rash on the body from tumbling and flipping. Nothing broke, which was great. One screw did get a little bent in the front bumper. I'll show that, but you know, the vinyl wrap held up pretty good. The bumpers did their job and held up pretty good. So yeah, that was a pretty ugly crash. We did install the outerwear's pre-filter, which is 100% suggested. But the only modifications on this car were the air filter, the Dominator tune pipe, and the Super B kill switch. One thing to note about the Super B kill switch and the stock Tactic radio is they are compatible, I'll call it half compatible. And so the Super B kill switch, it has voltage protection, so you can set up the low voltage system so that can enable the fail-safe to kill the engine should your voltage drop. And then also the Tactic radio is a 3-channel radio, and it's got little push buttons by your thumb, and so you can set that up as a 2-position switch, and so you can manually kill the engine. The one thing that the Tactic radio lacks is a programmable fail-safe point, meaning that if the truck loses contact, or sorry, if the receiver loses contact with the transmitter, that it can send a specific channel, such as your throttle brake to full brake, or your auxiliary channel to send it to kill mode. That is not a programmable feature of the Tactic, so that's the only downside. Otherwise, the Tactic radio worked totally fine. It felt comfortable in your hand. It wasn't overly heavy. The range was more than adequate, and so yeah, that's the only takeaway, is that a Super B kill switch works. You just don't get 100% of the functionality of the kill switch with the Super B. So that's good. It means that you can put the kill switch on, and when you upgrade your radio to a later one, or if you swap the radio out, then you'll be set there. The other thing that I will continue to really speak highly of is the air filter system. So again, a couple things were working really hard against us is the fact that it was nearly 100 degrees outside when we were driving. 5 Mile Pass is extremely dry, very dusty, fine silt is just everywhere. This is after spending a good 30 or 40 minutes blowing it off with an air compressor. And so what we could do is, I'm going to show the air filter. We're going to take it off right now and see just how well the air filter did. So I got the body off, just wanted to show. So the panels held up quite well. So you can see from my tumble, there's a little bit of damage to the vinyl wrap, but you know, a little bit of scuffing and scraping there. It's all held up well. Kraken is definitely one of the leaders as far as injection molded roll cages are concerned. They've been making them for years. So let's see what's hiding for us behind the air filter cover. So this started black. So we'll take off the 2mm Allen wrenches here, or sorry, Allen screws. Alright, so that looks good. It's got the cap. So this is the outer element. Looks like, so I didn't adjust this at all. I didn't take this off and inspect it. I just went for it out of the box. Part of being able to give appropriate feedback for Kraken and for others that are going to be getting the truck, I usually like to just get the truck and drive it as it is so that I can give some honest feedback. I don't want to put every upgrade under the sun and make it seem like this unattainable car out of the box, as fun as that is. All right. So this way it's like at least I can give some feedback. How does the stock engine run? You know, how do the stock servos work? So the cage for the air filter, what's good is that I see a lot of oil, some air filter oil, and that helps seal against some dirt and grit. I don't know if you can see on the bottom here, but there is a bit of grease buildup. There's some dirt buildup, but that grease just acts as a barrier, so it catches the dirt. So that's part of what it does. Here's the air filter element. So it looks like it was well oiled, probably a little on the more oiled than it needs to be scenario, but for one tank of fuel, equivalent to, I think we're running it for about 40 to 45 minutes. Because I mean, it was nearly out of fuel when the steering gave out. This is the air filter. That is some of the worst dust and dirt that we have in Utah. The only place that I would consider worse would be the sand dunes. And this air filter is amazing. That is amazingly clean. So this airbox setup continues to show that it's hard to be improved on. There's a reason that nobody has made an aftermarket upgrade airbox system for the VEKTA outside of the RC Max guys, because the stock filter works really well. You can see, so this was the bottom side. See how the oil kind of drips down, works its way down. So it's a little oversaturated on oil, but you know, a little bit too much oil is better than too little, and that is clean as a whistle in there. So bravo, well done. All right, guys. So I want to know what questions you have. I want to know what specifically you would like to see me do with the VEKTA trophy truck next. Is there any technical things that you guys are curious about? Any other points that I need to touch on that you didn't see me discuss in a previous video or in this video? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow along on Facebook. We also have an Instagram. I promise that I will not spam your timeline and your news feed. I'm not going to do it. If I'm going to post something, it's going to be cool and it's going to be meaningful, and it's going to be unique and it's going to be original. So follow along for that stuff. I mean, I love interacting with everybody. I want to know what you guys think. Are you going to get a VEKTA trophy truck, or do you think that the original VEKTA is a little bit better look? I think that they're both pretty cool, frankly, and I think that this is an awesome step forward in fifth scale. So I look forward to modifying this, doing some more videos. I promise that this right here in the background, there will be more content coming up with that next. So stick around and see what we do. Thanks for watching.